Boy, can you even see me? Okay, it's very dark. Let me go this way. Maybe the light behind me will be a bit better. Nope, I'm still black as anything. How you doing? This is Brother Marley. Okay, so listen. I've just come to the end of the day. A couple of things I've been wanting to share with you, and I haven't had a chance to. So, given that we're now closing up and looking up for the evening, everyone's gone home. I thought, yeah, why not take this time out while they pack away to chat with you. So, you know what? Here's the thing. There's some things about this place that you need to know. For the most part, it's been a very edifying experience. All these different people from different parts of the world who are coming, who are repatriating back home or coming to the Gambia with a positive mindset. And you know, every week they keep coming. And it's wonderful to see as these new people are coming. That's great. And I expect that to continue. And at the same time, there's some things that you need to be aware of when you're coming here. So now, there was a family who came over from Atlanta, just outside of Atlanta. Talented young man, his mum and dad and his lady. And they came over. They was here for 3 weeks. And in that 3 weeks, they were able to find a very nice house. A very, very nice house. And they were able to find a business that they could actually get into as well. And so now they've just gone back to the US to, tidy up their affairs and then come back and start a new life as a family over here. It can be as quick as that, as if you're really on it and you're really willing to put in the work and not take no for an answer and really push, you can find what you want. And what's funny is their next door neighbours are a family who are from the UK, another black family from the UK, via Canada, and they've got a talented son as well, strangely enough. And what's wonderful about the fact that this is happening is that without them talking, it's putting out a message out there that we've always been told that we need the system, we need the UK government or the European Union or the World Bank or the World Health Organization or the United States government or the United States military and all these other systems, to be there to protect us. The United States prison industry. You understand? We need those things to be able to make sure that we have a successful shot at life. And what these families are showing, and many others I could go into, what these people are showing without even talking, just by their works, and that speaks more than anything that I could say. The fact that there's people coming over here and doing that is starting to prove that was a lie. Also, what I've seen is people really sort of like getting on code with the whole, group economics thing. There are some who still have the old colonial mindset, like me first, grab it all, it's all mine, hold it to myself, don't share, there's some there are those here. But for the most part, it's like as though we've been hearing all this stuff about group economics, and it's been difficult to actually practice that when you're in the States and you've got a choice between going 100 miles down to the nearest black lady doing fruit and veg, and you've got an Asda's or a Walmart on the corner, right, for half the price. So it's kind of difficult. Whereas here, man, that's the default to practice group economics. So it's like here, for example, we sell cakes, two lots of different kinds of cakes. You have brownies, and then we have like other cakes you can have for birthdays and so on and so forth. You get to choose what you want. And it's a sister who has a cake shop. Her name's Amma. She's over in Manjai Junction, and she'll do your cakes for you. So we have her. There's another sister called Amina, and we use her to be able to do our fruit juices rather than trying to, like, we could do it all in-house, but in order for that whole group economics thing to work, we're going to have to kind of work together. And we see that the man who fixes our car is a brother from the UK, and you know what he would do is then he could bring people here. Has he brought people here? Yeah, he did. He brought a young man here the other day who brought some food. So it's like as though, you know, the Dallasy is moving around. Remember, like how they always say, oh, the dollar or the pound, it will stay in the Chinese community and bounce 28 times, and then among the Jewish community 67 times, and among black people nothing, just like 35 minutes and it's gone. Here we're actually kind of doing that, which is really good, really wonderful. So I would encourage you to consider, you know, looking at this as a new lease on life, a new experience of life. And then there's also the other side to it, the not so good zone. You know, here in the Gambia, I find my expectations keep being missed. I keep, you know, like I have expectations that don't get met, and the reason I think is there's a couple reasons that I want to share with you. The first one is that here, back in the West, for example, you know, we have like a very rigid education system. So now we go into primary school where we learn 1 + 1 is 2. We learn our alphabets, we learn how to read, so on and so forth, right? They're putting some propaganda in there as well, you know, just to get the deep-seated training and mind melting happening. And then when you get into secondary school, what you're really learning is how to socialize. So you, rather than you stay in your classroom and the different teachers come to you, now you're going from one class to another class. So you're learning about how to navigate your way to work every morning. You're learning about doing that. You're learning about being on time. You're learning about wearing a tie to school, so that when it's time to go and join the workforce, then you're not adverse to wearing a tie. You're taught about, you know, speaking when you're spoken to and not sort of speaking over people. Those kind of things, socialization, you're learning for the most part. But the other stuff happens. But really and truly, the point of secondary education is to do that. And what you have here is a very kind of, it's almost blasé in comparison to, like, say, Jamaica, where it's like, you know, education is key. Like Nigeria, education for many parts of Nigeria, like especially in the larger cities, is key, and in the West as well, in America and in the UK. But if I compared it to here, it's very lax here. So you'll find that here, you know, things like literacy, yeah, or let's say it this way, literacy here is very low. You know, we would expect it to be like 100% or very close to 100% in the West, and here I have no idea, maybe 50%, and even then those who are literate, you know, it's not to the point where it's like it's the same kind of level that you'd expect in the West. And people don't really talk about it because I guess it sounds like as though you're taking a dig. I'm definitely not. These are just things that you need to know when you're coming over here, so it helps you to figure out what kind of work you're going to do. You know, there's no judgment attached to it. I'm not saying this is how things should be or how things shouldn't be. I'm saying to be disappearing. Do that. I'm not saying how things should be or how things shouldn't be. I'm just saying how things are at the moment. And also with that sort of like blasé kind of expectation of education, the kind of socialization aspect isn't there. So the work ethic here isn't as powerful as a work ethic that you'll find in Europe or in the Americas. Again, I'm not putting no judgment on it because that doesn't actually change anything. What needs to be done is that you need to be aware of that before deciding what to do. So let's say, for example, you said you wanted to do something like you wanted to open a string of shops with different members of staff in there, and you're going to do that. Well, be aware that, you know, those members of staff definitely won't be working to the level that you would expect in the West. Definitely won't be. And you know, you can try and add more staff on, or you could try and you know, keep replacing and finding more. But what you'll find is, as I found over the last 5 years, that you still end up in the same place and repeating yourself and, you know, begging people and berating people and wagging your finger at people trying to get them to do what you asked them to do already. And that's very, very frustrating and very, very time consuming and energy consuming. Hilarious. Every time I do a video, I get a phone call. Every time. It's amazing. All right, where was I? These issues that you will find around the work ethic and so on and so forth are something that you need to be aware of, and just be smart about your decisions when you're coming over here. And that, you know, that goes across the board. My car is over there at the moment. It needed a gearbox. I took it in to get the gearbox done. It took about a week for them to come back and say, come and get your car. I went back to get the car. Car didn't work. Gearbox didn't work. I said to them, no, it's wrong. Fix it, do it correctly. They're like, okay, no problem, we'll do it correctly. All right, here we go. And then here we are, 6 weeks later on. They didn't fix the gearbox, and instead I found my ignition had been disconnected, and all the wires from my dashboard behind the steering wheel are all pulled out. And when I asked them, they said, well, the problem is that your gearbox, your ignition, there's something wrong with your ignition, and it was like that when we found it. And I said, so how did I come and we did a test with the key and it worked, and now you're telling me it doesn't work and it wasn't working when you got it? What are you talking about? And we had to go and get the police involved in order, and the man had to be arrested in order for him to give us back our money, because he wasn't giving it back. As far as he was concerned, he did the work, even though the work didn't actually work and the car is in a worse state than when you gave it to us. He should be paid for what he's done. The car's over there right now because the car doesn't even move anymore. I drove it to the garage and now I've had to drag it out because the car won't even move. And that kind of work ethic here is normal. There's so many examples of that. So please be thoughtful about those things when you're coming here. We have to work together. We have to stick together. You know, outside of the system that we've all grown up in, it is easier to do so. There's less reasons why we shouldn't. And there are still some people who won't. There are still some people who will try to kind of pretend like as though it's still like back in the West. But we have to work together, because if we don't, you know, we'll always find that we're going to be still at the effect of other people's causes, rather than us causing the effect. We're going to always be at the effect of other people. It's a massive disservice and a useless situation to be in. We've got to come better than that. So I hope that all makes sense to you. I just want to say I wish you the very best. You have a great day, night, whatever it is you're doing. I'm finishing now. I think they're almost finishing there, so I'm going to get out of here. So you take Take care of yourself. I'll catch you soon.